Good morning, everybody. I am still in San Diego. Today is Saturday. Survived the curfew from last night here in San Diego. On my way to the junkyard, Chula Vista. Man, I'm about 3 miles from our wall. Maybe me and Diane will go down there and rub on the wall. So I'm gonna go to the junkyard, pull some parts, pay a couple of short visits to a couple of people down here, head up to Santa Ana, help a guy on his S60, then maybe can help Tony in the LA area. Man, Loretta about wore me out with that 960. But hey, she got a lot done. She helped a little bit get some of that stuff taken care of. And then after we get done with the last couple of people, I am
in 2 miles, home. Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 3 for Main Street toward Auto Park Drive.
Be home soon. Diane's looking forward to it. She thinks that things will be different in Albuquerque, but nah, they're crazy here. Had a little fender bender. I actually didn't bend any fenders yesterday. People down here are driving like maniacs. Light turned green yesterday. Everybody starts moving forward. I kind of glance away, shift my car in first, let up off the clutch, lift my head up. Lady in front of me has stopped at the green light. Went to hit the brake, bumped into her, pulled over, gave her my information. Look, lady, please don't shoot me. I know things are tough right now. Here's my information. Do with it what you want. Couldn't see any damage on either car. A couple of smudges. That was it. But I got to be more careful. Heck, really, half the time I'm in the line to take off and people are playing on their phones. I wish I had old blue eyes and just ram into the back of them and say, hey, move it. Get off your phone. Anyway, didn't mean to bump her, but I did. No visible damage.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 3 for Main Street toward Auto Park Drive.
Or her car. So we are going to pull a few parts, get out of here, check out this hotel, head a little bit closer to Albuquerque. Hopefully I won't get harassed by any of the law enforcement.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 3.
Enjoy the rest of the video. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video is composed of things that I tinkered with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. This video should contain tips and tricks of things that I've learned throughout the year. Now, I only plan on leaving this video posted for about 30 days. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, I'm going to be pulling the dash out of this 96 960 to do a heater core replacement. If the system is still full of coolant and the coolant is in the heater core, first thing you want to do is drain the coolant out of the system, and you can also pinch off the radiator lines. Let me show you where those come through, the heater core hoses. When you come into the engine bay, that is the heater core there. Plastic tips, hoses are capped off down there on this one. So you want to make sure that the heater core that you get has the same spacing. I could put my finger in between there. It stops at my first knuckle. So I want to check the heater core I got, that it's got that same type of spacing. That's where you want to disconnect your heater core lines. This is the heater core that we're using. Got it from a World Pack. These hoses are a little closer together than the ones that I have, so that may be a mild issue, but you don't want to get them to where they're not spaced properly. You won't be able to get it in. So my finger do go in, it stops at the knuckle. I cannot get that onto my first knuckle. If you don't want to drain the coolant, you can pinch those hoses off and disconnect them. Next, you want to lower the tilt wheel to its lowest setting and undo the screws on the bottom of the clamshell. Take the clamshell off of the steering column. You need a long 25 to get these screws out of these two holes here. Get that clamshell loose. Disconnect the battery. The ground should be good enough. Move it out of the way. Make sure it don't make contact again. Get a T15. Put it up in that hole. Turn it a couple times. Get this loose. Get a screwdriver. Gently pry it off. You only got to turn that a couple of turns to release the set screw. Then you pull these 4 T25 out of those deep holes. Get the top of the clamshell off. Pull off the bottom of the clamshell. Next, you want to pull this under dash panel. T25's there, and it unlatches from the side. Pull that down and out. Pull these 2 long screws out. Unlatch those. That comes down. Undo the light, and you can remove this out of the way. Get this knee bolster thing out. You got 2 30 millimeters there, 2 10 millimeters down there. Pull those 4 securing bolts and you should have this out. Remove this piece here. It's got a cover. I don't know what the heck she locked that for. It's got a cover under it. There's screws under it. Then pull it off to the side like you did the other side. Remove this piece under here. You got to get some penknife or something. Pry this forward. Pivot it out. You got a screw there. Then you just pull this off the side. So let me get that T25 off there. Remove the center console. You got a little cover here. You pull up on the handbrake. You pop this cover up. Untuck it there. You got a couple screws there. Look like somebody tightened too tight. It cracked that. Then you got a couple screws, I think, down here. And then you got a couple of screws here on the side. And there may be screws under here. Let me check that real quick. Had to put the key in, pull the handle back, and see if there's any screws down there. Had the 2 screws there, 2 screws there, and there's 2 down there in that little panel. Couldn't see that panel was down there with all the crap that was in there. But take a flat tip screwdriver, get it under there, pop that up. And there's your other 2 screws that holds down the center console. Shifted the car into drive, carefully lifted it up, slid it out from under the front, and then work it up over the rest of this stuff. Get it out of your way. When you get it up high enough, you got to disconnect your heater switches and undo this OBD2 port there. It may slide down and out of there. Let me try it and see. Yeah, I just pushed that down with a screwdriver, and now I'm gonna unplug these heater switches. Before you lift this up and out, this winter sport economy button has to be unplugged. So pull it back a little bit, unplug that, then you'll be able to get this out. But I did have to get the harnesses loose that were threaded to these seat switches. Now I'm ready to lift this up and out of the way. Next, we're going to remove the radio, take out the center console, undo all the switches across the dash. So, if you haven't already pulled this out, which comes out pretty easy, let me show you how this ashtray comes out. Pull the ashtray down, push that lever down, pull the ashtray all the way out. Now you got 2 screws there. You undo the radio like this. You slide the radio out and unplug the connectors behind it. When you have the radio out, you push those little tabs on top of those connectors. They come out. You just pull that straight out, and this has something else connected to it, so I need to unplug that. And there's a CD changer wire and harness, so I'm gonna unplug that as well. Once you have those 2 lower screws out, the radio out of the way, there's a couple of tabs in here. You stick your screwdriver in there and you pry those in to get this piece loose. Do this side first. Pull that. Now put your hand behind here. When you get that pulled out, it takes 2 hands. Slide this trim out. That latches it on. That latches it on. Slide this one out, then unlatch that one, slide that one out. Then this whole piece will begin to move away from the dash. Then you reach back there and unplug these switches, and you should be able to get this center console piece out of here. There you have it. The latch is removed. This is coming up and out. Watch the shifters. You don't want to bust anything up. Then unplug those switches and pull this out of the way. Comes out. It's a little awkward, but it does come out. Be careful not to break it. It's fragile. Then unscrew these 4 screws there. Slide that climate control unit out and unplug the plugs on the back of it. Once you get it out a little ways, you'll have to undo this light, undo your cigarette lighter, then it'll come the rest of the way out. The good thing about these switches here is they're color coded. Black on black, yellow on yellow. These connectors on the cigarette lighter, they actually come loose pretty easy if you can squeeze the ends a little bit. Squeeze them in, they come right off. Probably gonna have to cut this zip tie loose here. Then get this side loose. You put your hand behind this and start working it, pull it out. Next, there's some clips up here. Pull that down. Pull that down, expose the screws back there. Take those 2 screws out and these 2 screws out. Pull that instrument cluster out of the way. Remove the vent, pry your bone tool in there, work it out. You got a screw up there. Do the same thing with the center vents. Pry something in here, get it working out. Make sure you ain't got no screws up here. That's gonna stop you from getting this instrument cluster panel apart. Yep, screw there. Try that next one out, get that screw out. Pull this piece out. Now you get the screws to the instrument cluster. Pull the instrument cluster out. Unplug everything that goes to that cluster. When you get it out, remember where it goes, because you will have to put it back in. Next, I'm going to take this passenger side knee bolster out. I'm going to take these 2 screws out here. They look like they are 12s. I'm going to take a couple of screws out there, and I think I'm gonna even take this bracket loose down here. I'm gonna take that screw out, that screw out, that screw out. Maybe this thing will be out of the way because I got to get to that fuse box and relay panel, I believe. I reached up here and pulled this air duct out, and it came down and out of the car. Took the 2 screws out of the knee bolster this side. Now I'm going to take the 2 out of the knee bolster that side, drop that knee bolster down. Pull the glove box. You got a screw here and a screw here. Lift the relay panel loose. Pry down on this a little bit and it comes loose. Now you need to disconnect the ducts that run under the floor. Got a little Phillips there on the other side as well. To get to those lower floor ducts, you got to pull this duct. So pull it over to the passenger side, down and out of the way. Now you can get at those screws. Pull those ducts out. Alright, so you want to take your replacement heater core and wrap it with the gasket, come in the box, and then push it through the firewall and get it clamped on. I don't know why that heater core is so beat up. It may not be original. Where the pipes went through, there's a seal. I put that in there. Then I started this top screw, started that bottom screw, started that bottom screw, started that top screw. They're hard to get going, but it is possible. Now I'm gonna jam the box back up here and put some sealant on that corner that I broke. Also, I took some screws out the bottom. I'm gonna put those back in. I didn't need to take the ones out of the bottom that I did. Before you put all this back together, you may want to get caulking for this thing or some kind of goop like the last person did. But clean off this temp sensor. That's a special note in the Volvo thing. Somebody's busted this up. Not sure when. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and massage this back up in there, get the screws lined up, and start securing screws. To get that back up in there, I took your breaker panel, laid that out through the hole where the shifter is. I had this pivoted where the opening toward the heater core was down. I pushed this up out of the way, slid it up in there, popped it in there, and then flipped it back over that way where it has to be secured. Be careful with that temp sensor. So now I'm gonna line the holes up, start the screws, and get that stuff screwed in. This end over here goes between the two panels. That holds it lined up right. Then get down there on the other end of it somewhere, start a couple of screws so it'll be straight. So let me get a couple of screws started in there. Got all the screws in that. Now I gotta get that wedge back up in there somehow. I work this up in here. I come in here on this angle, forcing this duct down, got it up in there, got the bottom of it on top where it belongs, and then line the top screws up to get that in there, and then you get the two accordion tubes on the ends. Fit the face duct back in place, got its clips stuck in, and then I fixed that rubber gasket on the bottom of this thing right here. Goes all the way around, make sure that's tucked in right. Now I'm gonna get this piece back up in there somehow, figure out how that goes. I don't remember how it even came out. This piece goes in this way, up there, covers that air box. I unplugged a couple of wires over there, the blend door motor, and then another connector, so that I can get these things in there without damaging the wiring. Jam that bottom piece in there. Man, that's tough. Then I slid those floor ducts on there, slide that thing forward as far as you can, then put these end pieces on here, one on that side, one on that side, and then put this bracket back in here that supports that knee bolster thing. So now I'm putting the instrument cluster in, start those 4 screws, tighten those down, then I'm gonna put the ducting system in. I had one of these vents all busted up out of its wits. I got that put back together, and make sure all these other ones are fine, and I'm trucking right along. I'm not cleaning all this crap up, man. I don't do that on the road. Got the instrument cluster trim in. I'm gonna pop these air vent things in. Had to close those to get that thing to go in easier. Then they open up. So let me get those popped in there. That one not popping in easy. May have it in backwards. Let me check it. Had that metal clip was off of it and in there, so it didn't clip on right. Now it's good to go. Now I'm gonna put my climate control unit in, then I'm gonna put my switches and buttons in. Got all that stuff plugged in back there. I found the yellow plug back there was unplugged. Got all the stereo stuff sitting here ready. Now I'm gonna put these knee bolster parts back in, hook up the lights, put the panels in under there before I put the center console in. Toughest thing is going to be plugging these seat heaters in. That was kind of hard getting those unplugged. She's got one of those garbage catchers there. Don't seem to be doing any good catching garbage. Put the 2 covers and the screw holes there. Put these lower panels in after the knee bolsters. Somebody had this super glued up here because they broke it taking it out, but it's supposed to go up there like that and then clip in, but like I said, the clips broke. Somebody had a super glue. Now I'm gonna put the stereo in, then I'm gonna plug this in, these switches and stuff in here, and put in the center console. I'm going to test this light first to see if it works, because I have one. And heck, there's one down here. See if that one works too. With the rear ashtray out, I pushed up on these tabs with my hand from underneath and pulled this out away from the center console so I could plug those two wires back into that light bulb back here. So I'm going to plug that in. This stuff in the center just pulled out. It has a guide in there and it pulls out. So I'm going to secure the front, lock those in, screw that stuff in there, then I'll put the rest of the stuff together. Gotta get those coins out of there so I can put the screws back in there. Now I got this piece, 2 screws. After you tuck it in right, plug in that, plug in these things here, put that light in there, and you should be good to go. You gotta work to massage this corner in right or it'll fall down. That comes out there. Got the screw in there. Got the clamshells in with the screws in there. Got a couple busted screws there. They're not holding anything really. I wouldn't worry about them. But I guess you could put those back there. So now we got to go outside and take a look at the coolant lines. And don't forget to tighten this back on in that hole with your T15. I fished my coolant lines up here, but really not sure which one goes up, which one goes down. But I'm gonna see. Looks like I got a flat tip or 7mm. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.